All right, truth seekers, music fans, people who are okay with me talking about culture and politics and faith. This is all of that and more in one compelling video in real time for you and for me. I don't know how compelling it's going to be, but it's just me ranting and raving about the world just coming apart at the seams and demonic activity and the fact that the people around me who I don't know could be dangerous. I mean, the level to which the darkness has crept in might be at the highest point it's ever been when it comes to the existence of the United States and maybe the planet Earth in general. I don't know. But I'm kind of a spiritual guy. So I'm thinking to myself, this has got to be demonic activity because people running around on social media, people who have occupations like educator, doctor, lawyer, veterinarian. Imagine me bringing my beautiful little schnauzer Ruthie to some veterinarian that thinks assassination is good. Oh yeah, I really trust my dog to you, right? Once you find out what I believe, oh, I'm sorry, we couldn't help your dog. Gee, I wonder why, right? So now you've got to kind of explore people a little bit. You've got to do a little research on somebody before you have any transactions with them. Plus, if you're going online saying positive things about Charlie Kirk or even a prayer vigil, right? Prayer vigils are being interrupted by protesters and lunatics that don't want people praying for Charlie Kirk's family and this country. Holy crap, Batman, whoever. I mean, you live long enough and you're like, yeah, I think I've seen it all. Nope, haven't, haven't. We are in a super dark time period, and I'm fearful. You know, who can you trust? The trust level for me went really down the tubes after COVID. Went down the tubes. I didn't trust the government. I certainly didn't. I trusted the media zero when it happened, and so that went into negative territory, like negative 1,000. All right, the experts, trust the experts. No, didn't trust the experts. Are you smarter than our doctors? Yes, I am smarter than your doctors. How's that? Um, so you had all of that stuff that really damaged public trust for most people who were paying attention. Some people just went along with it. Said, "Hey, it's great. I'm glad I did it. I'd do it again. In fact, I'm still doing it now. I'm really sad that I can't get one here in the state of Florida. Better hurry up. Maybe they'll ship you one in the mail. I'm sure you can mail order one from Illinois or California. They'll just mail it to you. No questions asked, right? So you could do it yourself. But getting back to the present darkness, you've got educators and doctors and people who are in positions where they're administering some kind of thing or service, and they believe that assassination over political stuff is okay here in the United States. In fact, they're happy about it. I don't know if I can coexist with those people. Remember that I've talked about this before, the old coexist bumper stickers. I don't see them as much anymore because they're not really relevant because they're not asking you to coexist. They're asking you to acquiesce. Be like us. Think like us. Well, I believe in Jesus Christ. Well, we don't. Your sky god can't help you. All right. Well, your whatever you believe in can't help you either. You're just living your life with reckless abandon, and that's fine because a lot of people do. But could you keep me out of your, sphere of influence? Could you just, these views should not be mainstream in our society, but you've got a complicit media who, I don't know, I saw some clip from ABC News. They're talking about the shooter, the alleged killer, and his lover, and it was bizarre. It was I don't want it. What does that have to do with this at all? Like they're telling some kind of weird love story between the two dudes, and I'm like, nothing like interjecting something that number one is irrelevant, but number two props up this entire narrative that the world's gone to hell, and you're kind of like in the narrative yourself. Like this is normal to talk this way, but me talking about God and Jesus, that's abnormal. You're the weird one on the fringe. Me, I'm the weird one. Okay. Well, used to be what? God, family, country. Now it's like there is no God. We really need to break up this family idea. And the country sucks, so we need to destroy it. I rest my case, right? That's the whole thing. Deconstruction. And but here's the thing I'm most afraid of. The people around me. I can't trust them. Oh, Dave, you're exaggerating. You're overdoing this. There are plenty of nice people. Yeah, there are, but I don't know who they are. Which ones are the nice ones, and which ones are the ones that really need some mental health treatments? Who are those people? And can I? Is there a, maybe there's some sort of device I can purchase. I could scan them, kind of like a Star Trek thing. See, okay, yeah, this one's not good. I don't think I can do that. I don't think they've made a device that does that. You interact with people, right? You put all this stuff on Facebook. Stay the hell off of Facebook if you can. But say you're on Facebook. Some people, they get some information there or they try to argue their point there or whatever. I understand it. But say you're saying all this pro Charlie Kirk stuff there and somebody sees it and they know where you live. They know approximately where you live. You might have a problem. Or even worse, say they're on Facebook and you're on Facebook and you go over to Marketplace, they have something for sale, and you click and you say, hey, can I meet you at such and such a place? I mean, I know this sounds far-fetched. Like, yeah, I'll meet you there at 10:30. And that person knows about your political leanings, and they don't want to transact something with you. They want to make a deposit, and you may end up like Charlie. I'm just saying, I know this sounds very hyperbolic and little crazy and worst case scenario sounding, but who do you trust? Your kids go to school and the teacher is crazy. The teacher is on social media. They're celebrating, they're dancing, they're doing TikTok videos, dancing around. And my kid goes to school there, and that's his science teacher. And some of these people are getting fired. Good. But by the way, it's got to be really bad when public school teachers are getting fired, and the public school administrators are probably thinking the same thing but didn't post it, but they had to. It's like, oh, can't have this guy around. Wish I could, because he and I were simpatico. Can't say the word, but we are in unison on this issue. It's too bad I had to fire them, but they'll get another job. Why were you fired from your last job? Because I think assassination is cool, especially if it's over political disagreements. One thing that Charlie believed in was debate, and he would bring people to the front of his line when they disagreed. I don't know if I can coexist with people that don't even, well, I've lost the argument, so get the weapons. These people need to be eliminated. This isn't the America I was born into. I mean, my age baffles me, so I don't like to talk about it, but I was born in the 60s, grew up in the 70s and 80s, had a great life, by the way, in the 70s and 80s. It was a different world. The 90s, things started to go a little off kilter. There are certain events that you remember. The OJ verdict, I think, was the first one that really changed the country. And then obviously 9/11, and then COVID, I would say. And there were some other events along the way, but I think post COVID, I don't know if it's the actual stuff they said would, you know, make it so you wouldn't get it. Yeah, I'll never get it again. Look at my arm. I've done 4 of these. Um, Maybe it did something else, right? Maybe there's something else going on. I mean, I'm allowed to speculate because nobody is telling the truth about it. I mean, and when you hear a little bit of truth, they shut it down. And the news media, right, especially the local news media where I live, they never talk about this stuff. Even though the Surgeon General said, no, I don't recommend any of these things anymore. You do what you want to do. People make it sound like, oh, I can't get the 72 in the schedule now for my kid. I can't do the 60 or I don't know how many. I think it's 72 that you have to get in total. No, you could still get them. In fact, your doctor, the one who was probably online posting about Charlie Kirk, he's going to make sure that your kid gets all 72. And then your kid's going to get autism and you're going to be like, okay, what happened? Why does my kid have autism? I don't know. There's no connection. Don't worry about it. There's no connection. We do what's right for you. Don't worry. We understand. You don't. You're a parent. You don't understand anything. So we're gonna help you through this. Darkness, demonic activity. I'm not one of these hocus pocus like charismatic type Christians at all, but we are in a spiritual battle. We are in spiritual warfare, and we are in darkness that we're not prepared for at all. We don't pray enough. And this isn't your duty to get up in the morning and say, okay, I need to pray for an hour. No, you need to pray for specific things at specific times because we are in a very dark period in this country's history. And you should be praying for your family. You should be praying for other people. Most importantly, you should have a relationship with Jesus, which means trusting him and believing him. That's what that relationship amounts to. Trusting and believing. Working for God, quote unquote, isn't going to necessarily get you any closer to God. If you believe in the gospel, though, it will inspire you to do things that you don't even want to do. That's what Charlie Kirk was up to. I'm sure when he was a little boy, he didn't think he'd be doing the stuff that he ended up doing. But he found the truth, and the truth set him free. So he was able to do those great things. And we are in need of thousands of warriors who will go up against this dark world and shine their light in the darkness. But the whole premise of my little rant and rave here is we are not safe. We are not safe. And the government's not helping us. And the media is not helping us. And now we're kind of on our own. We are on our own. I have friends that say, hey, let's go all volunteerism. I'm like, we can't even handle a little bit of that kind of freedom. We can't handle it. But I'm starting to believe that if no one's going to come and help us, then it's up to us to figure this out. Just like what they're doing on their side. They're saying, well, I don't want to debate. I've lost this debate, or, this debate is winning. So we need to just get rid of these people. I don't want to get rid of anybody. What I want to do is be able to protect myself from the insanity and from the darkness. And again, I don't think people who think the way I think, which I think is the majority of the country, but who knows? I don't think we're safe. So on that inspiring note, I'm going to be done here, but I do want to say this. Regardless of what happens to you in this life, the next life will be better. if you accept Christ. If you believe in him, if you have faith in him, you don't have to obey every commandment perfectly in this world. It's impossible to keep the law. So you've got to bank on the grace that God avails to us. Grace is what saves. Grace is what keeps us grateful and happy and not just wrapped up in the cares of this world. Grace for what God did for us. And that's really the only hope we have. I say it a lot in these videos, even the music-related content. But looking at this darkness, there's no way out of this darkness. There's no way. It's not going to get better. It might get worse. It might stabilize a little bit, but the darkness always seems to come back. But God gave us Jesus Christ, and he's our hope, and he's our light. So, you know how you let your light shine? You find Jesus and you stick with him because he'll always stick with you. And that's it. So we are not safe, people.